I have 2 emails to read for our first, big. I moved it to the top. We'll talk about the state of play first because that's the biggest thing of the week. But I'm going to read the emails first because they both set the tone of this.
There's definitely a tone.
There's a tone.
There definitely.
First email we have comes to us from Brad from Cincinnati, Ohio. Hi, guys. Was that the worst PlayStation showcase we've gotten this generation? This literally could have been a blog post. They spent 11 minutes on an Overwatch clone that I can't see anyone bothering with unless it's either free to play on the console or launches into Plus Essential. Where are the games we want? Where are the big, huge AAA video games this brand is known for? It just seems more and more PlayStation is hellbent on phoning in the rest of this generation. So disappointing. And then we have a follow-up one, which I love even more, because this was something that I didn't think about right away after the conference. And it was maybe an hour later. I was like, wait a minute. Steve from Columbus, Georgia. Hi, guys. Quick question. There was literally no mention, no showing, nothing regarding a PS5 Pro at the showcase. At this point, does it seem like this thing might just be a rumor and those kits are just turn out to be PS6 kits? It really seems at this point there's certainly no reason to release a PS5 Pro system. So we can get into it. There was Sony dropped a state of play. I'd like to point out in the video I put out today, this is their big showcase for the year. This would be their biggest, like they might do another state of play in the fall. Yeah. This will be the biggest probably of the year. Cause it sets the tone for the rest of the year. They're showing stuff that's coming out later this year. So, it was bad, like very bad.
I just I watched the whole thing and at the end when it was over, just like, I mean, what is there? I don't get it.
It started, and like the first email says, it started with 11. I counted 12 because I actually watched the time. I counted 12, but it started with 12 minutes devoted to a free to play game.
It didn't start with that. It started with
we don't know yet.
It started with one of the CEO guys.
Yeah, true.
Not both of them, because they both can't be bothered to make an appearance for this.
Yes.
Right. The first one when they're both in charge. For him to be like, hey, what's up? Check out this game. Like, that's basically all he said.
He came out and he made a big deal about how, hey, 2 years ago we bought Firewalk Studios, and this is that Concord game they've been working on. Now, to be fair, before the conference started, I knew that this was a multiplayer game.
Well, and this guy wasn't even one of the CEOs. This is the other guy who's like the games guy.
Okay.
Remember? Because he worked at either worked at Gorilla or one of the other ones. I forget what his name was.
Okay.
But like neither one of them could be bothered to show up for this thing.
Because I knew going into this that Concord is a multiplayer game. Most people didn't remember, and so they started it with a cinematic trailer that introduces you to these characters that went on for like I looked at it felt like 5 minutes. It was only 3. It felt like 5 minutes because it just kept going. And the first thing I said to myself when they got to the gameplay was, how much time and money are we spending as a studio on these weekly cinematics for this game that nobody's going to watch? Nobody's going to give a fuck about.
The real problem with this game is the entire thing was a bait and switch. Yeah. Because remember they showed like that brief like inside a spaceship thing last year, right? It was like Concord. And I was like, oh man, that could be interesting because it looks good. Like it graphically looks really good. Mm-hmm. And then they start with this cinematic. And the cinematic, while it's like overly campy and it's clearly ripping off Guardians of the Galaxy in every possible way it can.
Very much.
It at least sets it up as like, is this a multiplayer heist game? Like some kind of thing where like you go do missions to steal shit and there's like other groups that are coming after you to do it. Like, can I play as any one of these people? Is it co-op? Is it whatever? It could have been so many things. And the first words out of that dude's mouth are, it's a first-person shooter 5v5. When he finished saying 5v5, I was gone. I'm out.
It's just Overwatch.
I'm just done. Because it's just Overwatch again.
With
what the hell?
They'll add characters to it.
Right. Well, they already have a ton. Remember, they showed like the 15.
I showed it.
But like, what the hell? This is the entire thing is just Overwatch. And it's Overwatch, like you said, it's Overwatch to the point where we're gonna waste our time making character cinematics that we're gonna release every week.
And like those cinematics visually were very impressive.
Yes.
So that's why I'm like, again, how much money is being devoted to just that portion of this game?
Who actually gives a shit about the backstory of characters in an Overwatch game? Nobody.
Right.
Nobody.
Overwatch tried, and I think to some extent, the first Overwatch game in the beginning succeeded in this because it was its first of its kind. And like there was a universe and there was a story and there was all this stuff.
Yeah.
But we're on Overwatch number 5 or 6 at this point.
At this point,
I'm just,
with how many times it's been rebranded.
Done, dude. I'm just done.
Yeah.
It's not interesting. They start talking about how we really dove into the mechanics of the game. We made no one cares. Nobody cares.
All you did was played a lot of Overwatch and then said we can do that.
Well, aren't these Destiny guys too?
I think there were some people from Bungie.
Destiny guys.
Yeah. The thing about it is the thing is like again, you have to assume at the very least this game launches on PC as well. Because if it is just PS5, it's even more dead in the water. Because then the second question becomes, and they did not explain this at all at the showcase, is this a free-to-play game for PlayStation? Is this a game that you have to spend money on? Is it going to be a game that's just free for everybody that has Plus? We don't know that.
It better be, because I can't.
And it has to be one of those, because if it is a game that they are going to charge $70 for, nobody is buying this.
No, God, no.
And it's going to be a disaster for them. So my assumption is that it'll either be free to play or it'll be a Plus game that they're just going to give everybody, which I think it said it comes out in August. So
it comes out on my birthday. Yeah.
Okay.
So you know what to get me. Copy a code.
Oh, yeah, there you go. And this is how they started this stupid showcase with this game.
12 minutes.
12 minutes were devoted to this game. Like, it's insane to me how much time we spent. And again, this was 35-minute total showcase.
A third of this thing is a game that not like it comes out in 3 months and it's just like, hey, it's Overwatch. Wow.
So they transitioned from this to God of War Ragnarok coming out on PC in September. We already knew that was happening. Right. We'll put a pin in God of War because it's going to come up later in the news. But it's coming to PC later this year. Again, here's my gripe with that announcement here, okay? Why put that in the showcase? Because your audience that is watching a PlayStation showcase are not PC only gamers.
Right.
They're PlayStation
but
gamers.
It's got support for ultra high res. It's got
But the audience is watching this has already played it. So I don't understand. That game could have been left out and been a blog post.
Or it could have been in a sizzle reel thing and not just like,
or something like, hey, games coming to PC, something like that. We finally get around to something that I have some interest in, but it wasn't a launch trailer. It's a 2025 title. That is Dynasty Warriors Origins. So it looks to be a prequel. It's another Omega Force game. I haven't played an Omega Force game in a decade, so I'm at the point where like I watched this trailer and went, yeah, I do like those kind of games.
I like those games. I talked about that when I was playing Warriors All-Stars. I like that game, but nobody buys Dynasty Warriors games. No. To the point where I'm kind of surprised they keep making them.
What can you tell me about Infinite Nikki?
The dress-up game of the year 2024.
Dress-up game of the year 2024.
Yeah.
Did you like the rip-off Super Mario Odyssey music that played the entire trailer?
I'm all in on dress-up game 2024. This looks incredible. Open world dress-up adventure.
Is it going to be like a Genshin type thing, or are you going to pay for this?
It kind of looks like it. There's supposed to be a beta test at some point.
Okay.
I'm all in. I don't care. I'm all in. Infinite dress-ups, dude. Who cares?
This is another thing I ranted on a little bit in my video. Where Winds Meet, which is another samurai game. My issue is
loaded up.
There are too many fucking samurai games.
No, not anymore. It's a whole genre.
We can't get it is, but like, why can't we get the Tenchu game Matt wants? Why can't we do some sort of stealth thing?
No.
Why is every one of these have to be the same fucking game? Like at this point, I can look at this or Rise of the Ronin, maybe even a little bit of Tsushima, and
there's that other game that's coming out too.
Neo.
There's another one too. Wasn't there one that they talked about last time that was like? I remember the trailer being very red.
You're right. I don't remember.
It's like there were a lot of red flowers and stuff, but that's just another one. But like, and the thing is like they're trying to be a little different. Like this one's got like a little bit of magic in it. Like it's just a sword game, dude. They're all sword games.
They're all sword games.
Yeah.
Ballad of Antera, I was excited about until I learned it was a free to play game. Because I thought it looked really good visually, but it's a free to play Souls-like game. Again, there's a lot of those. We stepped into what I now am I'm gonna say, like at this point, if it hasn't been obvious, the PSVR 2 has been a disaster and it's dead.
It's on its way out.
It's on its way out,
and it's gonna get the same treatment the first one did, where they just stopped.
It already has been. Yeah. You got 2 announcements at this thing. You got the people that made The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners has a new game with Skydance. I don't know why they played up Skydance. Like that's a movie studio that's not doing very well right now, so that name doesn't bring anything to the table, especially for people that play games.
It's just weird that it's called Skydance's Behemoth.
Skydance, Behemoth, whatever. That's what I said. And then I got excited briefly when they showed this Alien game until I realized, it's that game that's already out on the Meta.
Well, the other thing about that
VR game.
That Skydance game is it's just on Meta and Steam as well.
Yeah.
So you don't have to buy a PSVR for
No,
it.
you don't. The other thing, like the frame rate for this Alien game looked terrible. I don't know what was going on.
There were parts of it that didn't look super great either, but I'm hoping maybe that's just because it's a VR game and those don't look right when they're.
I mean, I get it. This is a year where we actually have a new Alien movie coming out, so you want to put something out, but like a VR
but it already
game
exists.
Dan, I hope you sure like 5v5.
Do you know what I like? I like Overwatch clones. Was there another one, maybe?
There is. Let me tell you about it. It's called Marvel Rivals.
God damn, dude.
There's going to be a closed beta in July.
Fuck.
To be fair, this is on both systems, but again, another Overwatch clone.
Overwatch. You can make this, but you can't just give me back Marvel Heroes.
Right?
I can't have the Diablo Marvel game back, which was very good. I have to have fucking Overwatch again.
They took the Marvel game you and I liked away from us, so we got the Avengers game.
Yes,
in its place.
The reason that game got taken away is because of Avengers, which is a terrible game. And then now Avengers was so bad they figured, fuck it, we have to do something else. We have to copy something else.
Yeah.
Now it's this. It's like, just make the Diablo game again. Make it now. Copy Diablo 4.
Yeah.
Do that because this is maddening. And like, wow, NetEase. Wow, that's a team I can really get behind to make a game. Like, just no. Terrible. Beta test coming soon, but again, it just looks. You know what the worst part is? It looks like Overwatch.
It just looks generic.
It just like the views and the powers. It just all looks the same.
I saw some of the same like crosshairs.
Yes,
in that one specifically. Until Dawn, I think we talked about this maybe a year ago, at a showcase. They were they quote unquote remaking it. This really just seems like a port job now.
It looks like a bad port job.
It looks visually worse. It also looks like they darkened the visuals more.
Is it just me, or did some of the people not look like the actors anymore too?
Which again, that could be a thing where they don't have the ability to license
their faces and stuff anymore.
Yeah, that's possible.
Hayden Panettiere still looked like her, and the one guy did. And Rami Malek did. The other girl did not look the same to me.
So that might be a change as well. But my thing about this, like, you can just play Until Dawn backwards compatible PS4 and you'll be fine. The other
thing about this would be maybe put it on PS5, but do something different with it.
What is the price on this?
2 new endings or some shit. You know, like it could have been anything.
Yeah.
What do you think the price is on this? Do you think they charge full price for this?
If they charge full price, that's a miscarriage of justice.
I agree.
It is terrible.
Yes.
That game should be 40, 50 at the most.
I think
it'll probably be 50, right?
I think 50 is the new 40 in terms of how everything's shifted, but it can't be $70.
No.
Dear God,
if it's 70, don't buy it. Because you know what? Because it'll go on sale and it'll be 40 at some point.
Yes, absolutely.
Just no.
Path of Exile 2 is heading to PlayStation early access at the end of this year, which is cool. I actually want to get into that. I played a little bit of the original Path Exile. I thought it was pretty cool.
One out of 2 games I'm actually interested in so far, and the other one's a fucking dress up game. So like this tells you what this thing is like.
But hey, we finally did it after a year and a half.
Did we?
We finally got Silent Hill 2 Remake to show its face again, with now a release date of October 8th. But somehow it looks visually worse than it did a year and a half ago when we saw it.
It doesn't look great.
And not even getting into the whole controversy with the face thing. My thing about this, and I said it in the video that I put out earlier today too, is like, remember when Capcom said, hey, we're going to remake Resident Evil 2, and they didn't talk about it for 3 years. And every E3, where's Resident Evil 2? Where's Resident Evil 2? And then they finally showed it, and it was jaw-dropping how good that game looked. This, to me, just every time I've seen it, and now even more so, it's meh.
Yeah.
When I look at it, it doesn't. And I know, like, the aesthetic of the Silent Hill games, especially too, it's very gray, it's very drab already. Obviously, there's, the fog is a big element of Silent Hill, but for something about this just doesn't click even in this trailer. I will say the combat looks better than it did a year and a half ago. So they clearly fixed the issues that people had with that. I did watch the extended gameplay of it they put out after this conference. So I will say it does look good. I will play it. I will review it. But as far as remakes go, I don't know. I'm not super excited. I have some excitement, but I should be a lot more excited about a Silent Hill 2 remake in a franchise we haven't had a new entry in, a legit, not counting that thing they put out maybe a year ago, since 2012.
This is going to kill it again.
Do you think it's not going to do very well?
I don't think so.
Okay.
As of right now, as of that trailer, hype isn't great. And if it turns out to be mediocre at best, that series is dead again.
Okay.
Do you think it makes the release date?
October 8th?
That's sooner than you think it is.
I think there's
I think 3.5 months from now.
It is. I think it's possible. If it gets pushed, then I think it gets pushed to March.
Right.
But I really hope it does make it because, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but it is one of 2 Sony exclusive games you're getting this year right now, this fall. We then kicked over to what I thought was going to be the last announcement of this conference, which was more footage of Monster Hunter Wilds, which it didn't do anything for me because I'm not a Monster Hunter fan.
I don't know. You and I, we played a lot of that last one and I really liked it. This one doesn't feel the same to me.
No.
It seems like it's trying to be more like the Switch ones.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, where those are slightly different?
Yeah. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me. But I know there's a huge audience. Those games sell very, very well. It's going to do fine.
It's going to sell like crazy. Yeah.
But Sony's final announcement this conference, which unfortunately it did leak early in the day. I didn't know this would be the last thing they would show, but we are getting a new full Astro Bot game. Out September 6th, so pretty soon already. And, tail end of summer, we're getting a new Astro Bot game. Looks fantastic.
Looks amazing.
This was the best thing that was shown at this conference, hands down.
Yeah. Not even close.
Cannot wait. My only gripe with this is I really hope it's not $70. I really hope it's a budget title.
Considering the last one was free, that would be kind of a slap in your face for $70.
It would be, but also we're talking about current day Sony.
And they don't have anything else.
Yeah.
They know it'll sell.
They know this will sell. But everything, like the music, the different, this one, it looks like there's going to be elements. They have Parappa the Rappa and Kratos.
Just all kinds. It's going to be it's going to be like the last one where it just pulls everything.
Here's the one thing that got me, and we'll talk about it in a minute. So in that trailer, at one point they show him using a PS5 as a spaceship.
Yeah.
And there was a moment when that was going on where I thought to myself, is this how they backhand announce the PS5 Pro?
That would be
all of a sudden
idea.
He jumps to another ship and it's the PS5 Pro and they're like, coming this fall. And that's what I thought. I thought they were going to say.
They could have done same day.
I thought what was going to happen was, hey, here's the PS5 Pro, and if you buy it, it comes with this game installed.
Yeah.
That's what I thought they were going to do. Yeah, but no.
All right. Well, let's talk about the fact that it wasn't announced at all.
The PS5 Pro?
Yeah.
So I honestly kind of agree with the email we got. I'm almost in the camp now where, okay, we're on year 4 of this generation of consoles. At this point, most companies are already prepping for their next system. They're very far along with whatever they've developed. Why put out a Pro at this point?
Well, money is one.
I don't think it, but again, like you have an audience of, there's still, what was the number that came out? Like 150 million that are still playing on PS4.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So you have to then try and get those
and
people.
You're already outselling your competition in terms of Xbox 5-1.
5-1.
Right. Nintendo doesn't count. But it's the thing where I still think the kind of thing with the Pro is, and I want to say they've done stuff like this in the past where they could announce it like a month before it comes out. Like, I don't think it needs to be in a show like this. I think it's its own thing.
You think they have? I think they have their own show.
It's a 20-minute thing. They show what some of the top games on PS5 look like running on this thing.
Okay.
And then, hey, it comes out in a month. Pre-order it today, because companies have done that before. Remember,
they have.
The Xbox, it was like pre-order today, and we were at work and we're like, oh shit, kind of a thing.
But do you think that we saw some rumors where some developers pushed back and said it was unnecessary? Do you think it's possible that maybe Sony said, you know what, maybe we just roll this into PS6?
I don't know if it's not powerful enough for what developers want right now. There's nothing yet you roll in from this current thing you're working on to 6. 6 becomes its own thing and you're starting over.
Yeah.
Because a 6 isn't going to be, we took a 5 and we upgraded the parts.
Yeah.
Because a 5 isn't a 4 with upgraded little parts. It's a different machine. And a 4 and a 3 are wildly different, and a 3 and a 2 are wildly different. 2 and 1 are kind of the same. But
yeah,
a 6 isn't going to be a reworked 5. A 6 is going to be a new machine. So I would say if they're actively working on a Pro, I still think a Pro exists, because I still think a 6 is not for years. Because if you have so many people still playing on a 4 that you haven't even got them to a 5, that you're going to release a 6, and we haven't even dropped the price of this one. Like, there's just so many things about the 5 the way it is right now that a 6 for me is like 20, 30 probably, because this system is built to last longer.
You think we get a full decade out of these?
I think so, because again, they're built to last longer.
I mean, I've had nothing but good luck with both of these systems.
I haven't had a single problem with my PS5, except for the one time during a weird power outage where like it completely fucking.
It's a power outage though. So.
Freaked out and I had to rebuild it basically, but that's a power thing. That's different. I just think that you're killing the competition. Switch 2 isn't even out until next year, which is the only thing that might take some of your fire away.
Yeah.
You haven't even gotten close to meeting your system sales for your last system. Putting out a 6 in like a year or two almost admits that like we didn't do great with the 5. So you didn't do great with the 5 and you never reach your potential of 5, but I'm supposed to buy a $600 system. Is that what a 6 is going to be? Because who knows what these prices are going to be like.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, we don't know. Like, I have to imagine at this point, being 4 years in, let's say they do come out with it. Let's say it's this fall.
Sure.
For the sake of argument, let's say we get to August, right before that game, the Astrobot game's coming out, and they go, okay, we're going to do a conference tomorrow. And they show it off. They show how much better it is if you buy it. They announce a price. I see more at this point of them doing, hey, this is the $499 price, and we drop the price of the current PS5. Because at this point, if we're going to do it, you want to get those users into a PS5 at this point.
Right.
And that would be the way to do it, because
if you drop it more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't think you can make it more expensive at this point. I think you have to sit it at $500.
My thought would be, so they're like, this is the new PlayStation 5 Pro. It's $500. Any existing PS5 stock that's still out there, or what we have coming out, like out of the factory or whatever, through the end of the year and maybe into March, is $400. And, and discless systems are $300.
Here's my next question. Do you think that GTA being pushed to fall 2025 affected this?
No, that game.
All the rumors that we saw, it seemed like that was the game that heavily relied on a PS5 Pro.
That game has to work on a PS5 though. It doesn't have a choice.
It has to. Yeah.
Yeah. It may not be good, but it has to work.
I will also argue that GTA 5 is the game that will push a lot of PS4 users to get a PS5. GTA 6.
Yeah. Well, it has to be because it's not going to be on PS4. It can't.
There's no way.
It would melt your system.
Just you watch it melt in front of you.
See it catch on fire.
Or it just says, "I'm sorry."
But it would have. But you're not going to. The thing is, you're not going to see any PS5 Pro games only. They'll never do that. They'll never.
They didn't do that last time.
No, and they never will. But I still think it's real. I do think that maybe it doesn't have to come out now. If GTA is the first thing that's really gonna, even though they say that it doesn't matter, then maybe it's a GTA release. Like I could see them coming out very close to each other. Maybe the system is like maybe 2 weeks ahead of a GTA date. Maybe
a more realistic timeline then would be fall 2025 for PS5 Pro. And maybe looking at 2028, 2029 for a PS6.
That makes more sense to me.
Okay.
And then by the time, and then if you think about that too, like by the time we get to 28 or 29 for a 6, then that's finally time where they could be like, it's digital only. Sorry. That's far enough out where we're already in the middle of this transition.
That I think Sony can do that then.
Yeah, because then there's no more even like, it's not a discussion. We're not letting you down by telling you this because we've told you 5 years ago. So, and that's PS6 will be the death of discs, and Xbox is already there.
Let me put it this way then. As far as Microsoft goes, which Microsoft obviously has had a pretty rough couple of weeks. Everything that we know, everything that we've read and seen, it really seems like they're not going to do a prototype system at all. And they're just going to put out a new system fall 2026. Do you realistically think at this time we might look at, like, not saying that this would be another 360? I don't think you're ever going to get a 360 generation again, but do you think it would be a 360 like situation where, hey, maybe there's a year of there's an Xbox that's just more powerful than anything else on the market because this is the next generation?
If the PS5 Pro existed at the same time, then yes. But we're also at a point now where Microsoft is just putting their shit on PlayStation.
That's the thing.
So that's kind of wrecked.
It's crazy that there wasn't any of those announcements here, like any Xbox game coming to PlayStation.
A little bit. I would have, if it was, it would have been something small, or it would have been something that was already out, kind of like the 4 games they had talked about before.
But I also don't think that they say anything about that at the Xbox conference.
Not at the Bethesda thing.
I think if there's any mention of like, hey, Halo MCC is coming to PlayStation, at this point that would be like Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, that would be, because that's a big Summer Game Fest thing.
You can't go up on the Microsoft stage and come out and go, okay, hey, here's MCC coming to PS5.
No, like, but you can release a trailer for it at Game Award, not even Game Awards, but Summer Game Fest.
Summer Game Fest.
Where Jeff comes out and it comes out and it goes, world exclusive reveal or some whatever they say during those things.
How'd you like to experience Master Chief's journey again?
And then it just
on a different system.
You hear Cortana say, "Chief, wake up!"
Yeah,
and he wakes up and he looks down. And he's holding a PS5 controller.
I mean, we've talked about it at length, but like I'm all for it.
Do it.
So I want it. Because I want that game to explode again.
Right. I think. Well, and again, it would draw people back to the game. The player base immediately shoots back up.
Hell yeah.
I mean, if the Fallout TV show can bring people to play Fallout 76, releasing Halo Master Chief PS5, on a PlayStation 5 can get people back to playing Halo. And like, honestly, man, I'd probably go back and play Halo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Halo 1.
Even if I could cross play with you on my Xbox, I would still probably buy the PS5 version because again, to me, it's just such an odd thing. Hey, I'm unlocking trophies.
It's cool. It would be so cool to have.
It's such a weird thing.
I'm excited that most people are at a point in like gaming and just where gaming is at that we're all just okay with this. Like, just do it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's my thing. It's like,
for
I'm not
Xbox
mad.
people for it to be on PlayStation.
Yeah,
all multiplayer games are beneficial for Xbox people because you have to assume that crossplay is a must. Like you don't like if PlayStation, we're gonna put it on there. They have to be able to play with,
at the very
with
least
Xbox people.
Multiplayer is
right,
but I would think the whole package would be, because you want people to be able to play those campaigns,
right,
co-op on whatever PC,
but
Xbox.
More people playing Xbox games on other consoles means more people are playing the game, and at this point, that's kind of Microsoft's goal. Right?
We've already seen like they like looking at that digital top 10 PlayStation list
and seeing
that they're dominating it.
They're killing it. Sea of Thieves killing it.
Sea of Thieves is destroying the PlayStation right now.
Quad A Skull and Bones.
Exactly.
So it's I think Summer Game Fest is where you might get one of those. You get the Gears thing too. But again, Gears would make people play it again on Xbox. I would buy Gears for PlayStation. I'm the person this is collection. For. Yeah, just like a collector who just thinks that like these are just oddities now.
Yeah.
Like, but even though it's becoming the norm, it's like these are odd to see. Halo. Imagine looking at your shelf and just seeing fucking Master Chief Collection in a PlayStation 5 box. It's so weird. But it's
a weird
great.
Thing. Mm-hmm.
It's exciting because Microsoft kind of has to do this at this point. They don't really have a choice. Even if this new, the most powerful system on the market comes out in 26, if there's no games, then who gives? It doesn't mean shit.
It doesn't.
I mean,
we learned that this generation.
Yes, and
you
if
can have the most powerful system,
it doesn't mean a damn thing.
Doesn't mean anything. But yeah, that PlayStation conference, I gave it a D. As my letter grade for it on my video. It's a D.
I would say D plus at best. But it's just like 2 Overwatch games just murders it. And
and Astrobot's what got it a D, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Dress Up Game is probably why I give it a plus.
There you go.
One of the things that was garbage.
One of the things I hated the most about it was I was watching the IGN feed, I told you, and as soon as it cuts back over like the IGN people who have to pump this up because it's their job to pretend that it was good, is the guy goes, I counted 14 games. Okay, pump the brakes because 2 of those are Overwatch clones. 2 of those are VR, and 2 of those are games that already exist, which is God of War and Until Dawn. Mm-hmm. So we're taking 6 off the top. We're down to 8.
Yeah.
So that means we got Astrobot,
Silent
Hill, Monster Hunter. Like you had 8 games, dude. Like you had 8. Concord, like I just can't see a world where Concord catches on. Marvel,
you saw the likes versus dislikes on it.
The dislike is 83% dislike on that game.
Yeah.
Wait.
And like Marvel could catch on for a small amount of time because it's Marvel, but eventually people get tired.
They do.
So yeah, it's just a bummer show. Xbox, the bar was set very low for Bethesda. Like
it was.
Bethesda just needs to be like Starfield. You know what? It's one thing that they could say that it's on PlayStation is Starfield Game of the Year, and with the DLC something, and then at the bottom it just is like PS5 or something in the corner. You know what I mean? Just
or if they do anything like that, what I see happening
I don't even think they do that. But.
I don't think they would do that. I think what happens is you get the announcement of, hey, here's a Game of the Year edition of it. And then you get the blog post after where it says also coming to other platforms.
Right.
So
that's not a part of a show. It's just something they put online.